fellow motivators. My name is Asian Wood, and I'm going to be doing an EAP on the Hospital Core Manual. So I'm going to start with Chapter 1 and make a new video for each chapter, and hopefully I can help some people out. I've never scored below a 68 on an exam, so just trying to help a fellow sailor out. Fellow sailor. I can talk. So we're going to start off with Chapter 1, the Heritage of the Hospital Corpsman. And I'm not going to go into much detail with Chapter 1 because there is not very many questions that pop up on this chapter on the advancement exam. So we're going to go ahead and start with Tag 1, and to the part where it says the origin and development of the Corps. And this is where we're going to learn about some loblolly boys. So on March 2nd in 1799, Congress mandated that each newly commissioned warship needed a cockpit or sick bay. Those words were used interchangeably and it was where they would take the sick and injured sailors to be treated by surgeons or surgeons' mates, which were the first Navy physicians, and the predecessors of us, loblolly boys, also took care of them. Loblolly boys got their name because they were in charge of making sure that they got their daily rations of food, which was a porridge type situation called loblolly, which is how we got our names. But they also did things like collected amputated limbs and mopped up blood from the floors, heated up tar to stop hemorrhaging, pretty much making the area clear for the surgeons and surgeons' mates to take care of the patients. So some important loblollies to know are John Wall, who was the first loblolly boy, John Doman, who was the first loblolly prisoner of war, and Joseph Anderson, who was the first African-American loblolly boy. And even though that Congress mandated that in 1799, loblolly boy did not become an official rate until 1814. And then over the years, they started being called different things like apothecaries, surgeon stewards, baymen, things of that nature, until President William McKinley in June 1898, the Corpsman's birthday, decided that we needed a hospital corps, and that is how we were born. So, I'm going to go ahead and skip over to Tag 2 now. Talking about the World War I stuff, it's important to know that World War I set the foundation for our rank structure used today, and that they still have the Red Cross on their sleeve, which was changed to a caduce in 1948, as well as our ranking structure to what was set today. And the reason they changed from the Red Cross was because a giant Red Cross obviously meant medical, and so we became targets for the enemy. So, and they quickly learned if you take out medical, you take out everybody. So that's when we got switched to a caduce, and we no longer have a special marking on our uniforms. All right, jump into World War II, which was when WAVES was established, which was Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Services. That happened on January 12th in 1944. And the purpose of WAVES was it let women work in the hospitals and clinics stateside, so that way all the males could go overseas and help fight in the war. There was 230 enlisted women, and that all happened in Bethesda, Maryland. So we're going to go ahead and skip over to Tag 3. Make sure you definitely read over these wars, and it talks about how we were involved in them and how many people were killed and how many medals we got. But it's very important to know that it probably will not be on the advancement exam, just because, like I said, that they don't go into detail with the heritage on there. But just for general knowledge, it's good to know where you came from. So, okay, skipping over to Tag 4, and we're going to talk about the Iraq section right here. In that last paragraph, it talks about STPs, or shock trauma platoons. That was when those were first being used, and a shock trauma platoon is pretty much a small mobile medical unit that goes with assault units right behind the front lines. And the SPT teams treated 141 combat casualties with a 98% survival rate, which is amazing. So that just showed that everything throughout the wars and everything, medical has been exceeding the standards set before, and we want to keep doing that. Also, what's been coming out of these wars on the global war and terror and everything are traumatic brain injuries, which happen, you're buying IED, blows to the heads, all kinds of stuff like that. And PTSD is also a big thing coming out of these wars. And they're nothing new. They've always been happening, but it wasn't until, I believe it was 1980, 1980, that it was actually a diagnosable psychological disorder. Before, they would just call it, combat fatigue and shell shock and things like that. But it's definitely a psychological disorder that, and the Navy's doing a really good job of making sure that their people are being treated for that, because they understand that that's definitely a war injury, even though you can't see it. Corpsmen with the fleet. Important to know here is our 2 hospital ships are named the Mercy and the Comfort. Skipping over. This soft power, a global force of good, that's all about how the Mercy and the Comfort and Corpsmen go around doing humanitarian efforts and things like that, which is awesome to know. It's not all about combat and war. We're also helping with natural disasters and good things like that. So, Navy dental technicians on October 1st, 2005. Dental techs merged with corpsmen. That's all you really need to know about that. Let's see. And then this core of the future part, Navy considers Bethesda Naval Hospital the flagship of Navy medicine. And we're going to talk about the awards. So I know that there have been more awards added, but everything on your advancement exam is going to be coming from this book. So do not, even though we do have more awards now, per Corpsman Manual, we have 22 Medal of Honors, which is half of the amount awarded to the Department of the Navy. We have 174 Navy Crosses, 31 Distinguished Service Medals, 946 Silver Stars, and 1,582 Bronze Stars. And several Navy vessels have been named after hospital corpsmen, as well as clinics and hospitals and things of that nature. One important person to know about these Medals of Honor is going to be Robert Stanley. He was the first corpsman to earn one of those. So that's pretty much all I got for you for our heritage. I hope I helped out a lot, and I hope you check out the next video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the link or in the description box below. And I also have the core manual link there for those of you who don't have it, because you definitely need this. All right. Any questions, leave them down there, and I hope you check out the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.